The new playoff format kept everybody guessing into Game 84, and now the new season in 94 is underway. Some hoping for continued success, others feeling anything is possible, all searching for that ultimate goal.
Up over the Montreal line, he's got a goal! Wide and Keenan, clear to Bernardo. Bobby Orr, behind the net to Sanderson, Orr! Bobby Orr! Scores! And the Boston coming in with Nystrom. Nystrom, he scores! Bob Nystrom scores the goal. The Islanders win the Stanley Cup. Stop. Hockey again. Passes off. Center. Score.
To go along with points Pacific and Central, 4 teams from the Atlantic and 4 more from the Northeast. In all, 16 teams, but just 1 team will win 16 games.
Up the center and coming in is Lumme. Nieuwendyk centered it. McDonald scores. Andy McDonald. Center penalty coming up. Look at Lemieux. Oh my heavens. What a goal. What a move. Lemieux. Oh baby. In for Toronto. Clark shoving it to the corner. Out front again, Rouse. Scores. Scores. We're ready. Win it. On the outside. Desjardins shot. Score.
16 cities in search of 1 Stanley Cup. Welcome to Calgary, where we've saved the best for last. The final first-round series to begin. 2 teams that last met postseason 5 years ago.
Gallop away, his pass, stop. Here comes Tandy, he got a chance. Another great save! How can he keep doing this? Pass up on the right side for Smith. He's going in all alone. Oh, more than again. Shoots one in. They're after it again. Krupinski going in. Score! The Calgary Flames have finally done it.
5 years later, the Flames have another division title led by calculating coach Dave King, who's reviewed the past and found analysis can lead to paralysis, such as last year's first-round loss to LA. His team rested this time, and that scored points with those that make up the 3rd highest scoring team in the league. By comparison, the Vancouver Canucks scored 23 fewer and allowed 20 more. Pat Quinn's club struggling through an inconsistent season when the potential for more was there. Canuck playoff success has been limited to the Jets, the only team they've beat since the '82 final. And to change that isn't a secret. Vancouver must find a way to keep the NHL's leading goal scorers scoring. A beautiful day in Calgary for Game 1 of the Western Conference quarterfinal, and inside the Saddledome, this is rocking as the Flames are being introduced, and a terrific new playoff format has brought a bit of the old with it. A traditional Smythe Division matchup, the Flames and the Canucks, and really it's anybody's guess as to how this series will unfold, but certainly the Calgary Flames come in here as the overwhelming favorites. In the 7-game series, they won 4 with 1 game tied, but in those 7 games, accumulation of more than 400 penalty minutes, which would lead one to believe this will be a hard-hitting series, but both teams know they can't afford to take dumb penalties. Although the Vancouver Canucks did have the best power play on the road in the National Hockey League, it's at home where they stumbled, and will continue with that theme throughout this series. Also coming into this building, the Saddledome, the Vancouver Canucks has struggled. They did win here back in October, but they've only won 4 of their past 30 visits into this building, so the pressure's on them, the pressure on Calgary too, because the Flames haven't won a playoff series since they won the Stanley Cup back in 1989.
Well, we've been hearing a lot about it this past week, but much different circumstances this year. I think we're much more confident.
This is the 5th time that these 2 teams have met in postseason play, and the Calgary Flames hold a 3-1 advantage in series wins. Kirk McLean, who started 6 of the 7 games between the 2 teams this year, is in goal for Vancouver. His lone win was here at the Saddledome when he defeated the Flames by a score of 6-3 on October 21st. And that was the only game that Mike Vernon started in the series between the 2 teams this year. Trevor Kidd was the goaltender in all the other games. So it's 2 experienced veterans, Mike Vernon against Kirk McLean, in goal for the respective teams. And Paul Stewart is the referee, with Pat DiPuzzo and Bob Hodges working the lines, and the backup referee is Dave Jackson.
We talked about a physical series, or the potential of a physical series. Paul Stewart is a guy that can start that in this first game. You can bet that the guys that like to play that style of play are happy that Stewie, as he's affectionately known, is on with the arm patch tonight.
Nieuwendyk comes in across the line for Roberts. Roberts shovels it in front, and the penalty is coming up as Zalapski was hauled down as he went driving towards the net.
Well, Zalapski jumped up the ice right away. As we mentioned in the opening of the show, you'll probably see him on the ice when Bure is out there. Well, Bure started the hockey game. Murray Craven had to take Zalapski going to the net. Right in the middle of your screen, puts the hook on him just as the puck comes across. A good call by Paul Stewart. To the untrained eye, you might think that that didn't warrant a hooking penalty. Craven almost had it right when the puck hit the stick of Zalapski when he went down, and he found himself in the box.
So just 12 seconds into the opening period, the Calgary Flames send out their power play unit. The power play of the Flames had more success this year on the road than it did at home, but it ranked number 4 overall in the NHL.
Calgary's power play has been strong against the Canucks this year. Don, they're right around that 30% number, which is much higher than they were with everybody else in the National Hockey League. You'll notice that Vancouver will have McIntyre and Tim Hunter killing penalties. Hunter with good pressure on the puck on his old teammate Al MacInnis, as MacInnis jumped around the net.
And MacInnis, in the presence of Hunter, almost coughed the puck up at the side of the net.
Well, very aggressive. Pat Quinn putting Hunter and McIntyre out there, using guys that you wouldn't necessarily think would be perfect penalty killers, but if you can read the play and you're willing to work hard, you can kill penalties. Hunter and McIntyre do that for Vancouver. The other thing that it does is it gives some of the more skilled guys a little more time to rest.
Al MacInnis dishes it off to Reichel. Reichel drives it in along the boards. Roberts puts it back of the net for Reichel. And at this time, we welcome viewers of the Toronto-Chicago game. This one just underway at the Saddle Dome. On the power play, MacInnis dishes off to Reichel. He goes to Zalapski at the side of the net. Fleury's centering attempt was broken up. Fleury gets it again to the point to MacInnis. MacInnis to Zalapski. Back to MacInnis. He feeds it into Reichel. Fleury goes for the net. Reichel shoots up high, and McClaney makes the save. Fleury has it back of the goal. He feeds the point. Zalapski over to Reichel, to Fleury, and a save by McClain. Zalapski in deep. He loses the puck, and it's dumped down the ice by Lumme.
Well, you can always get an indication of how ready a team is when there's a power play in the early stages of a hockey game. Calgary getting this opportunity with only 12 seconds expired in the first period. They seem to be very, very sharp.
Here comes Nieuwendyk working against Babbage. He throws it out front, and it's cleared to the board by Didick. Babbage goes to the corner, tries to flip it up high. It goes back to the net. Nylander up front to MacInnis, and the save by Kirk McLean. Now Kissio circles in the corner. 22 seconds remaining in the penalty. Kissio back to the line. Yanni's long shot picked out by McLean, and it's gathered up by Courtnall. He starts away with Linden. Courtnall killing off some seconds as he dumps it back to the net. 7 seconds remaining in the penalty to Craven, and there's another whistle and another penalty call, this time against Calgary.
Well, the big Vancouver defense doing a good job in clearing the net. Didick and Babbage. Now, Ken Daniels talked about dumb penalties, keeping composure. MacInnis gets a pair for roughing right there. Courtnall definitely embellishes the rough. But you got to make sure that you're initiating, not retaliating. And when you take 2 minutes for roughing like that, you want to reconsider the next time you think about doing it.
Al MacInnis, who led all defensemen in goals this year with 28, goes to the penalty box with 5 seconds remaining in the penalty to Craven. And then the Vancouver Canucks, who have the #1 road power play, will be able to send their special team on the ice.
Well, you'd think there would be some magical reason why things work at the road games for Vancouver and not necessarily at home games. It's simply because they simplify their game on the road.
Yes, as Pat Quinn was saying this morning, one of the reasons the Canucks have had success on the power play on the road is that there's a tendency to keep it much simpler away from home. At home, they sometimes feel they have to put on a show. Now the Vancouver Canucks have a man advantage. Brown, acquired just before the deadline in the trade with St. Louis, is out there on the power play. Ronning and Bure. Courtnall and Linden also out there for Vancouver. Bure drives it in. Ronning trying to pick it up along the boards. He's having some problems. Couldn't control it. It comes loose in front of the net, and it's flipped down the ice by Dahlquist.
Don, we talked about finding the edge at the start of the hockey game. Vancouver did a great job in killing Calgary's first power play. Now they've got a power play of their own. Find a way to get yourself a lead here. That's an edge that you can certainly take advantage of.
Ronning goes to the corner, being watched by Fleury. Courtnall's in front of the net. Ronning has it. Lets the shot go right on, and Vernon sprawls to make the save. Vernon had to be concerned about Courtnall and Linden standing in front of the net as Ronning let the shot go.
Well, Mike Vernon has had lots of traffic in front of him over the years. The Flames trying to clear out two Vancouver forwards, as you mentioned. Now Mike Vernon getting a chance to play against Vancouver. He only did that one time this year, and as you mentioned, Don lost the game 6-3 to McLean. Goals fairly close, power plays not that much difference. Nieuwendyk and Bure very close in scoring. The big difference is Mike Vernon is in the barrel for the Flames, and Trevor Kidd is watching this one.
Jeff Brown gives it over to Bure with 42 seconds remaining in the Vancouver power play. Left there for Bure as he comes in across the center line, picks up speed as he hits the blue line, races to the corner for Adams, out front for Craven, and he fired it just wide. Craven is bumped along the boards, and Otto starts back with Zalapski. The two cross at the blue line, but Otto went in ahead of the play.
You know, in looking at the season series between Vancouver and Calgary, you realize that statistically they're not that far apart. And I thought that Tim Hunter made an interesting comment the other day to me about this. He said, you know, Calgary is not quite as far ahead of us as they might think. Craven in front of the net with a great opportunity. Mike Vernon, who is a real reaction goaltender, stands his ground. Craven just a shade to the left side.
Pat Quinn said the season has been a year of inconsistency. His team started so well, then struggled a bit, and did not have a great April. As a matter of fact, the last 2 weeks of March, the Canucks played pretty well, but as Pat said, for some reason we came home, and during the month of April we did not perform up to our expectations.
Well, he's got a little different attitude than a lot of coaches. He gives you a chance to prove that you can do the job, where a lot of coaches allow you to make a mistake and then they yank you.
Obviously there's a problem with the clock. Not sure whether it's too much time taken off the penalty to MacInnis or whether the game time clock was running. The off-ice officials are from Winnipeg.
Don't blame it on them, Don. As you mentioned, from Winnipeg, and a couple of familiar faces from Calgary as well. Paul Stewart just making sure that all the time and everything is correct before the game restarts.
Send out Jimmy Carson for this face-off against Sullivan in the neutral zone. Dahlquist dumps it into Vancouver territory. Dave Babbage goes back after it. For Lumme. Lumme had problems handling it. Adams circles, starting out of his own zone. His pass broken up by Roberts, who's got a breakaway. And Roberts is checked from behind and goes sliding into the net. Adams was able to recover, and Roberts is still down.
But Gary Roberts hit the goal post pretty hard. When you're sliding in on your knees and you catch your shoulder like that, a good chance of a separation. It's nice to roll your shoulder over if you can, so the blow isn't quite so direct.
Adams coughed it up in the neutral zone, and and he was able to keep that stick on Gary Roberts as Roberts went driving for the net and never did get a shot away.
What an unbelievable play by Adams. Initially, I thought there should have been a penalty, but looking at the replay, he simply out-muscled Roberts. Greg Adams is a tall, lanky guy, and his teammates have told me just how strong he is. He doesn't appear to be that strong when you look at him as far as physical stature goes, but Gary Roberts now knows that when Adams puts the stick on you, you're not going to go much farther. Great defensive play by Adams.
It appeared as though Roberts hit his neck on the post in dislodging the Vancouver goal. He missed the last 5 games of regular season play because of a thumb injury. Calgary back at full strength as they battle for the puck directly in front of the penalty box. Linden ties it up. No score with 15:44 left in the play. Just underway as the Canucks Murzin dumps it to the corner. Titov back after it. He leaves it there for Otto. Otto for Musil. Loses it to Ronning. Ronning is then checked by Musil. Titov gets it again ahead to Fleury. Fleury trying to work past Murzin, taken out of the play by the Vancouver defenseman. And there's a penalty coming up. 15:19 remaining in the period. A penalty call against the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, Paul Stewart has set the tone fairly early in this game. A couple of good calls and a couple of no calls. Now, Fleury wanted to have one here on Dana Murzin, but he embellished it a little bit as Murzin let go, and then as the play went behind the net, Trevor Linden put a grip on Joel Otto without the puck, and that gave him a pair for interference.
So the first 4.5 minutes of this hockey game have basically been power play.
Well, you start to get penalties like this, and it's difficult when you're on the bench, particularly if you haven't been on one of the special teams, to get yourself into the game now. You came into the game with a pile of adrenaline, and you're just vibrating there waiting to get out. Now you've had to wait for a half a dozen minutes before you get a shift.
Zalapski has it at the point to MacInnis. He fakes the shot. Nylander back to MacInnis. A long drive wide. Zalapski at the other point behind the net. Nieuwendyk lets it go for Nylander. Nylander threw it into the slot area, but the Canucks converge and they dump it out. 1:35 remaining in the penalty to captain Trevor Linden as Al MacInnis starts out slowly, dodges a check from McIntyre. Pass on the right side too far for Nylander, and again the Canucks are successful in clearing.
Well, this style of game as it's unfolded in the first half a dozen minutes is really to the Canucks' liking. Calgary hasn't been able to establish any rhythm, any tempo. They can't get their counter, their attack that they like to get going. Kind of a nice way, too, for Vancouver to come into the game and start to get their confidence.
Lumme flips a long shot on Vernon. He leaves it there for MacInnis. And Coach Dave King decides to change up his power play unit. Here comes Reichel. Reichel works his way in. He shoots up high and wide. MacInnis keeps it in at the other point. Roberts has it for Fleury. Fleury is checked, and Craven clears.
You mentioned Dave King changing up the power play. He has no qualms at all, if he doesn't like what he sees, to make wholesale changes in 5-on-5 play, power play, or penalty killing.
Now it's Lumme flipping it ahead to Bure. Bure tried to put on the brakes in front of James Patrick, fell. The puck goes loose. The lead pass too far for Reichel. And this will be an icing call against the Flames with 16 seconds remaining on the power play. Now some pushing and shoving, but nothing serious developing in the corner involving Murzin and Fleury. With a playoff update, here's Ken Daniels.
And Don will take you to the Boston Garden, where Boston after 2 is leading Montreal 2-1. But here, Paul DiPietro right through Casey's legs. Kirk Muller picking up an assist. Muller had scored the first Montreal goal, so tied up at 2 early in the third period at the Boston Garden. Meantime, the Islanders and Rangers, just like Game 1, the Rangers leading the Islanders 6-0 in the third. 3 former Oilers and 2 former Hawks have scored for the Rangers, along with Kovalev.
Boy, it's hard to believe the Rangers are pouring it to the Islanders.
This record around, at least in the playoffs, the best time to start if you want to win a series is tonight.
Many of the predictions on how this series would turn out were based undoubtedly on meetings between these two teams at the Saddledome. Vancouver has only won 4 times here in their last 30 trips to Calgary. 5 seconds remaining in the power play. Sullivan takes it back to the net. He feeds the point. Yanni's long shot kicked out by McLean. And Vancouver is back at full strength. 13:09 remaining in the first period. No score in the game. Hedican for Brown. Ronning deflects it down into the Calgary zone. Vernon comes out of the net to play it around the boards. Chipped out to center ice, and back after it goes Diddick. Diddick bodied by Joel Otto. Ronning was at the line, but he was offside as he was checked by Fleury, and the puck was flipped in. 12:46 remaining in a still scoreless opening. Game 1 of this Western Conference battle between the Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames. Still scoreless with 12:46 remaining in the opening period. The Flames on their last power play failed to get a shot on goal. Good defensive work by the Vancouver Canucks. Titov tries to slip it into the slot for Otto. Otto is bodied. The puck is taken in against the end boards. Titov continues to battle for it. He manages to free it. Goes cross ice. Musil couldn't get a shot on goal. Plays it back to the net for Otto. Otto moving along the boards. Gets it now to Fleury. Fleury trying to move into the slot. Decides to go back to the point. MacInnis with a high shot off the boards, and it ricochets all the way back into the Calgary zone.
Diddick and Babbage out there with big Joel Otto. If Otto's playing against Ronning, you can bet that there'll be a little bit more beef on defense.
MacInnis with another shot. This one deflects off a stick and up into the crowd.
Now Al MacInnis will in all likelihood be looking to launch as many rockets at McLean as possible when you've got a potential for a 7-game series and a guy that can shoot the puck the way Al MacInnis can. If you can ding one off a collarbone or a bicep or a leg somewhere, it just makes the goaltender think that much more about how hard you can shoot vulcanized rubber. MacInnis, an unbelievable shot, and he combines that with incredible accuracy as well.
822 career points. He ranks number 11 among defensemen in NHL scoring. Face off in the Vancouver zone. Murzin, a member of the Calgary Flames when they won the Stanley Cup 5 years ago. One of 5 members of the Vancouver Canucks with a Stanley Cup ring. One, of course, with Vancouver. Tim Hunter, now with Vancouver, was also a member of that '89 Calgary championship team. James Patrick flips it into the Vancouver zone. Back after it goes Murzin. He's being watched by Nieuwendyk. He decides to try and go up high in the glass, and it bounces all the way back to center ice. Patrick takes a hit along the boards from Gino Ojic. Now it's Lumme starting back for Vancouver. Lumme trying to work his way in against Zalapski. He falls. The puck goes back to the net. Picked up there by Patrick. Patrick feathers it ahead to Roberts. Roberts comes in across the line. Looks in front for Zalapski. Couldn't get a pass to him. Zalapski a number of times in the hockey game has jumped up in the play from his blue line position and gone for the net. Now it's Cruz working in the corner. He bumps there with Craven. Craven comes away with the puck. He tries to flip it out. Kept in at the point by Dahlquist. Nieuwendyk has it. Nieuwendyk shoots. Puck knocked down in front by Lumme. Lumme tried to clear. He couldn't, but Momesso comes back to help out. He fades Bure with a head of steam. Bure trying to go around Yanni. He's knocked down and then taken in against the boards heavily. Rink wide pass for Stern. Stern slips it ahead for Kissio. Kissio circles. Looks for someone to give it to. Feeds the point. Here's Musil with a shot, and that deflects and goes up over the glass and out of play. A good sliding block by Jeff Brown.
Kelly Kissio with a real nice play. But Bure with unbelievable speed. He's got to get his windshield cleaned off a little bit after that last burst. Trent Yanni did an excellent job in backing up. You want to learn how to skate backwards, this is a great guy to practice against. Bure trips just before he gets to Yanni, and Yanni finishes him as hard as he possibly can within the rules. the Flames will want to take the body on this guy as much as possible. Look at these statistics. He does it at home and on the road. 49 goals in his last 50 games to boot. And that's with a very disappointing start. He missed 8 games with a stomach/groin injury. And there was a lot of concern about where his output would end up.
Shot from the point, blocked by McLean. MacInnis has been loading up that big gun of his from the point, and he's fired a couple that McLean has had to react quickly to. Martin Jelena dumps it to the corner. Back after it goes Musil. Musil, who led the team in plus-minus, is checked, and he just to get it back again. He plays it off Kissio back into the Vancouver zone. Jeff Brown retreats for the Canucks. Up on the right side for Jelena. Jelena having some problems controlling it, and then is taken out of the play by Al MacInnis. 9:31 remaining in the opening period. Still no score in game 1 here at the Saddledome. Nylander attempted to dump it to the corner and go after it himself, but he was checked by Didick. And then as he tries to shoot it into the corner, it deflects over the glass and out of play with 9:18 remaining in the period.
Out of town, it's the Leafs leading Chicago 5-1 in the third. 3 former Flames have scored for Toronto there. It was 3-0 Leafs after 1. Let's go back upstairs to Don.
And we're still scoreless at the Saddledome. Game 1 of this Western Conference quarterfinal series. Trent Yanni drives it in. McLean missed it as he tried to block it back at the net. Babbage picks it up in the corner. Flipped it up on the right side, and Vernon has to come way out of his net. Plays it ahead to Otto. Otto to Titov. Titov trying to go around. Didick, a backhand shot, a weak shot. And McLean makes an easy save. Now it's Titov again, being watched by Ronning. Attempted to center, went off his skate. Courtnall plays it off Linden to center ice. Babbage goes back into his own zone. Flipped it up along the boards. Linden having some problems getting out against the forechecking of Joel Otto. Now it's moved ahead to Courtnall. Courtnall coming in against Dahlquist. His shot kicked out by Vernon. And then Courtnall is knocked down by Dahlquist.
That's only the 3rd shot of the hockey game for the Vancouver Canucks. We talked about defensive systems. They've been good in their own end of the rink, but they can't forget about putting some offense to the Flames as well.
Zalapski takes Jelena out of the play. Zalapski has it back of his own net, being harassed there by Manesso. The puck comes free along the boards to McIntyre. Manesso tried to center. It bounces high at the side of the net. Vernon and McIntyre, the puck is loose, and Vernon was able to steer it away from McIntyre. Nylander races in deep. He's pinned in against the boards by Lumme. Puck comes loose, and Merzen doesn't hesitate. He simply clears. Fired back in by MacInnis. Lumme deflects it out to center ice. Here's Craven coming in with Adams. Craven on his backhand, and a good recovery by Musil, who prevented Craven from throwing it out front to Adams. Nylander, centering attempt, intercepted by the Canucks. They can't go anywhere with it. Stern gains the line. Then he's tied up by Hedican. The puck is knocked to the corner. Brown attempts to bank it off the board. Zalapski keeps it in. A long shot kicked out by McLean. The big rebound flipped out to center ice.
Don, you have to really watch Bure. On that last play, he's almost up by the Flames' blue line.
Bure's long shot kicked out by Vernon. Zalapski plays it around the boards for Roberts. Roberts for Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk is forced to circle back into his own zone. 6:49 remaining in the opening period. Sullivan got it tangled up in his skates. Now Courtnall brings it back. A long shot deflects off Zalapski to the corner. Courtnall bumps Patrick. Puck moved ahead to Nieuwendyk. He tried to drop a pass for Roberts. It was picked off by Ronning. Ronning starts back for Vancouver. A long shot up high and a glove save by Vernon with Courtnall driving for the net.
And 14 seconds after Montreal tied the game in the third, they get the go-ahead goal. DiPietro sets up Kirk Muller. The great wrist shot is in, a reverse of the tying goal when it was DiPietro from Muller, and it is now 3-2 Montreal in the third.
Well, from one go-ahead goal to the potential for one. Frank Musil with a great play here. Watch how he continues to hustle back, gets his stick down, stops the pass across, and Craven manages to hold on to it, but can't find the stick of one of his teammates.
8-6 now. The shots on goal in favor of the Flames. At one point it was 7-3. The Flames with the edge. Jimmy Carson into the face-off circle against Joel Otto. Otto wins the draw. Dahlquist flips it around the boards for Fleury. Fleury, a lead pass up into the neutral ice area that Titov couldn't handle, and it's dumped back in by the Canucks. Dahlquist will try again. Now it's moved up on the right side for Fleury. Fleury into the slot area to Titov. McLean comes across to make the save. He may have got some help from Babbitt. The puck is flipped towards the net, and McLean on his back grabs it and holds on. 5:52 remaining in the period with another update. Here's Ken.
Don at Joe Louis Arena. Todd Ellick makes the play. There's less than 5 minutes to play. Hits Vladimir Krupa in the slot. Another shot that Bob Essensa should have had. He's had a rough night. And it's the San Jose Sharks who blew a 3-0 lead. Now leading at 5-4 over the Red Wings, who are on the ropes.
Well, we're still looking for first blood here. Fleury makes a nice pass back to Titov. Watch Gerald Didick, though, on Joel Otto. Does a great job in getting the stick out on Titov. Then he gets up and he hammers Otto again. When you've got some smaller centermen, you need a little bit of help. So far, Didick has been very, very strong in doing his best to finish the check on 29 Otto.
Kissio gets the draw to Dahlquist. Dahlquist takes a shot that bounces off the end boards to Kissio. Back to the point. Weak shot by Yanni is knocked down before it gets to the net. And the Flames are forced back into their own zone, trying to regroup. The play is broken up by Lumme. And now Yanni takes it behind his own goal. 5:30 remaining in the opening period. No score in game one. Pass off the skates as Kissio had some problems handling. Vancouver making a change as Dahlquist flips it in and then avoids a check from Tim Hunter. Berzin has it behind his own net. Lumme banks it off the boards for Hunter. Hunter is out there with McIntyre and Jelena. Jelena is tied up as he attempted to go for the puck, and Nylander starts back for Calgary. Nylander fakes the shot, leaves it there for MacInnis. MacInnis tried to flip it back to Nylander in the corner, but he was spun around and the pass was behind him. Back comes Jelena with Hunter. Play broken up. Puck flipped back out to center ice with 4:40 remaining in the opening period. Reichel steps into Hunter in front of the Vancouver bench, and then Hunter returns the favor by driving Reichel through the door right into the Vancouver bench.
Stern played for Vancouver a few years ago, and I'm not sure that he wants back there right now, but he doesn't have a lot of choice. Momesso pleading innocent. Tim Hunter certainly will be pleading innocent as well. You'd be the judge as to who did what to who. Reichel with a good check on Hunter. Stern comes in with an elbow, and he's lucky he didn't get a call, and as Hunter goes to change, he puts a bit of a hook on him, drags him into the open door.
And Hunter is going to draw a penalty with 4:31 left in the period.
Well, Tim Hunter quietly went to the penalty box, didn't dispute this elbowing call. Ron Stern certainly tried to get the elbow in, and I don't know that Tim Hunter necessarily should get elbowing. But nonetheless, he's got a penalty. He did the right thing by going to the box and not arguing. And you'll notice that both teams so far have managed to keep good composure. They haven't said two words to Paul Stewart so far tonight.
Fleury steals the puck. Works his way to the corner. To the point, to Zalapski, to MacInnis. Long drive. Kicked out. The rebound. Reichel. Reichel trying to jam it in at the side of the net. He raises his stick. He thought it was in, but McLean was able to keep it out, and referee Paul Stewart right there waves no goal.
Well, Al MacInnis, once again, the guy that starts this play, gets his shot through, takes a little bit off of this shot. Dave King now with his third power play and 11th shot. He's got to be happy with the way these guys are moving the puck around. Reichel tries to bank it off of McLean. McLean engulfs the post. A little bit of the snow angel coming up here. And this would make a good goalie highlight tape. What not to do, laying on your back looking for the puck, but McLean manages to recover and pulls the rebound in.
1:33 remaining in the Hunter penalty. Nieuwendyk banks it off the boards, but not out. Fleury to Reichel. His shot is wide. Fleury is checked along the board. Zalapski has it. His shot goes wide. Nieuwendyk tries to get it out the other side, and this time succeeds.
Now MacInnis with a great ability to read the play. That shot's hard around the boards. He is already backed up to the red line. Instead of trying to take a low percentage play at the blue line.
Nieuwendyk's high shot off the glass over the head of Kirk McLean. Fleury. Back to the point for MacInnis. Over to Zalapski. Zalapski throws it towards the net. It's wide. Reichel picks it up. Fleury's in front of the net. Nieuwendyk at the side of the net. Out front, intended for Fleury. It was knocked past him. And again, Zalapski had come driving in from the point, heading for the Vancouver net. Here's MacInnis with a shot, and McLean has that.
Well, Don, we mentioned that Al MacInnis would be shooting the puck. I would guess that would be his 4th shot already this period. He had over 300 throughout this year. And when he has open ice and nobody to go to, he unleashes it. Now McLean simply cuts the angle off.
Well, they say in the first round, teams are most vulnerable to an upset. The San Jose Sharks have defeated the Detroit Red Wings 5-4 in Game 1. The Sharks, the number 8 team in the West, the Detroit Red Wings, the number 1 team. Nylander back to the point. Patrick shot off the end boards. Merzen tries to clear. Patrick couldn't keep it in at the point. Linden throws it rink wide, but it's picked off by Yanni. Patrick has it again for Roberts. Roberts gets away from Courtnall. Moves it over to Yanni, and it's offside Calgary.
In this hockey game, he's laid the law down very, very early. And he gives you a warning as well. But if you talk to him too much or attempt in any way to embarrass him, you'll find yourself on the wrong end of that confrontation. Now, Stewart was a real tough player in the minor leagues, and he's got a good appreciation for an all-out battle when it comes to hockey. He doesn't mind as long as the fracases are fair. And as I said, he lays down the law and then lets you stay within the parameters that he sets.
Martin Jelena went over to the penalty box to have a few words with Tim Hunter, obviously with some instructions from the bench as to what Hunter should do when his penalty expires in 7 seconds. Dahlquist will shoot it in. McLean tees it up back of the net for Hedican. Hedican taking his time. Hunter is now out of the penalty box. Brad Hedican moves it ahead to McIntyre. He shoots it in. Jelena trying to race to the corner after it. Jelena has the puck. A backhand shot goes wide. McIntyre tried to slip it back into the corner. He takes a hit there from Stern. And then Memesso runs into Stern. Now it's Kissio starting away for Calgary. He gets to the line, dumps it in, goes to the bench and a change. The Canucks fire the puck down the ice. Musil retreats after it with 1:55 remaining in the opening period. Dave Babbage pushes it ahead to Craven. He has Adams with him on the left side. Adams going for the net. Lost control of it as he cut in front. Penalty coming up against Calgary. So a power play for the Vancouver Canucks as James Patrick goes to the penalty box. Bure's at the point with Brown. Ronning has it for Courtnall. Back to Ronning. He's having problems controlling it, and it's taken away from him by Al MacInnis.
Well, Murray Craven did a great job on the penalty that Patrick took by driving to the net. Adams did the same thing, but 32 Craven made the hole for Adams to get through.
Trevor Linden, who struggled over the final 10 games of the season with just 1 assist, dumps it into the corner, and the penalty call against Geoff Courtnall.
I remember, Don, I just finished saying that Stewart will give you the tolerances that you can play within. If you go outside them, they'll call the penalty. This is an example of that. Courtnall really tries to put the body on here, gets his elbow up. Stewart doesn't mind a good shoulder check, but if you rattle somebody on the side of the melon, you can do some damage. Watch the arm come up, gets Musil behind the neck, and ends up getting a pair for his efforts.
1:08 is the time remaining in the opening period. 1:32 the time left in the penalty to James Patrick as Geoff Courtnall goes to the penalty box. I imagine the phone lines between Calgary and Dallas were humming last night as Geoff and his brother Russ, who talked frequently during the regular season, will undoubtedly be in even more conversation during the postseason.
A chance to speak face to face.
I think they'd go along with that. MacInnis went for the net. Reichel couldn't get the puck to him. Craven now circles in the neutral zone, flips a soft pass to Hedeken. His shoot in is stopped back to the net for MacInnis with 30 seconds remaining in the period. Zalapski behind his back to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk leaves it there for Reichel. Reichel lets a shot go that deflects to the corner. Picked up there by Babbage. Babbage rink wide to Diddick. Diddick feeds McIntyre. He couldn't control it. Fleury flips it up on the left side for Roberts. Had Roberts touched it, would have been offside. It's Fleury for Roberts. Roberts winds up the save by McLean as the period comes to an end. Find out what we've got coming up in the intermission. Let's join Ken Daniels.
Well, Don, joining me in studio, the Flames' first-round pick, 15th overall, 9th.
Put the clamp on them, and although they allowed 13 shots, there wasn't a whole lot of second opportunities for the Flames' guns.
Game 2 of this series will take place here at the Saddle Dome on Wednesday night, and then the series ships to Vancouver for Game 3 on Friday night and Game 4 on Sunday afternoon. They're playing 4 skaters against 4 to start the second period. McIntyre can't get away from MacInnis. Zalapski has problems controlling the puck. Jelena in the neutral zone frees it, and then he's checked by MacInnis. MacInnis in turn is checked. Lumme plays it ahead for Jelena. Jelena takes a shot that goes off a skate. Lumme has to take it back to center ice and wait for his teammates to get onside before dumping it in. And now the Flames are on the power play. Fleury can't handle the lead pass. McLean is out of the net. Can't clear. Fleury fired it wide with McLean out of position. McLean got trapped as he was unable to clear, and he was still at the bottom of the face-off circle when Fleury let the shot go. Now Courtnall is out of the penalty box. Vancouver back at full strength. Yanni can't clear. Courtnall has it. He drops it off for Craven. Craven tried to get it back to Courtnall, and he was checked. Fleury circles in his own zone. He leaves it in the corner. Picked up by Courtnall. Courtnall in front. Bure scores!
Don, we talked about finding an edge. Well, here's an example of one. This goal shouldn't go in the net. Bure is on the other side, and Courtnall fires it across at an impossible angle. Your eyes are quicker than mine. I thought it bounced off and went straight in. Fleury with a bad play here as he dumps the puck to nobody. I don't know that Bure got that one. I think there might have been a deflection in front of the net. Let's see if this angle shows it better. Bure is ready. I don't think that Bure got that one, but we'll have a look later.
Well, they have credited to Pavel Bure, and Geoff Courtnall draws the assist at 1:15. The Vancouver Canucks capitalizing on an error in their own zone by the Calgary Flames. Dave King was saying that game one of any playoff series is always the most difficult to win, particularly for the home side when there are such high expectations. And the Flames find themselves down by a goal to the Vancouver Canucks. Here's a chance for Ronnie. Ronnie shoots, saved by Vernon. Linden has it in the corner for Courtnall. He couldn't get a shot away, and Kissio puts it out to center ice. Otto catches up with it for Titov. Titov is knocked down. The puck rolls to the corner. Checks Titov, the puck loose back of the net, and Ronning comes away with it. Linden starts out on the left side. For Courtnall. Courtnall's shot is blocked by Musil. Musil manages to move it ahead to MacInnis. He dumps it out to center, and then Trevor Linden steps into MacInnis. Linden has been playing a very physical game right from the opening faceoff.
It's great how you can see momentum shifts in a sport. The Calgary Flames back on their heels now, and Vancouver doing a good job to keep that momentum going in their favor.
Pavel Bure was credited with the goal. We have the advantage of slow motion replay. Let's take another look, and even from this, it's not conclusive whether Bure managed to get his stick on the puck.
They can see it right between his legs. Dahlquist's legs are between Bure and the puck. I don't think he got it. There'll be a discussion at some time, either during the game or after. But the fact remains that Vancouver has drawn first blood on the scoreboard.
I don't think Vancouver fans are the least bit concerned whether it was Courtnall or Bure who got it.
That's right. There's one guy that knows, and it's this gentleman right here who got a stick on it or not.
Bure with back-to-back 60-goal seasons, only the 8th player in National Hockey League history to perform that feat. Merzen's shot is blocked as Stern came diving out to the point. Here comes McIntyre down the right side, puts on the brakes in front, and Lumme had his stick lifted. Merzen takes a big hit along the boards from Ronnie Stern. Stern now has the puck, leads it there for Cruz. It's behind Reichel. Reichel dodges a check from Jelena. Here's Cruz working back to the net. He's taken in against the boards by Memesso. Penalty coming up. This call will go against the Vancouver Canucks. And heading to the penalty box will be Martin Jelena.
Just who do these Goodyear guys think they're fooling with this?
Marty Jelena gets a 2-minute cross-checking penalty for going over Robert Reichel. Does it right here. As soon as the whistle blows and he knows he's been found out, he skated directly to the box. Didn't say a word to Stewart. Went right off the ice.
Nylander tried to feed the point. MacInnis is able to keep it in even though the puck deflected. Another penalty coming up. A hooking call.
Good call so far by Paul Stewart, but kind of poor penalties. Jyrki, who was a real physical presence in the first period of this hockey game, gets caught reaching. Anytime you pull a guy on the inside of the elbow, there's a good chance that he'll go down, particularly if he's turning the opposite elbow that you pull. Nieuwendyk was doing just that. Dick gets caught for a couple.
So a great chance for the Calgary Flames to get back on even terms. A 2-man advantage for 147.
This is a great opportunity to evaluate how well a team is coached. If you see a team 5-on-3 and they move the puck around and are patient before they get a great opportunity, it tells you that they've practiced it and they know what they're doing. If you see a guy go to the umbrella and simply shoot, one of two things: either they're not coached well or they're having a tough time getting their confidence.
Zalapski has it for Fleury. Back to Zalapski. His shot saved. The rebound. Fleury couldn't get a shot away as he was checked by Lumme. And the puck is dumped down the ice by Jeff Brown.
The 5-on-3 is real desperation for the penalty killers. You know they got to give up a good chance. It's just a matter of when and how.
Now it's Roberts. Back to the point for Zalapski. Zalapski over to MacInnis. Back to Zalapski. Zalapski at the side of the net. Fleury feeds it back to the point for Zalapski. Over to MacInnis. To Zalapski. Zalapski lets it go. Saved by McLean. And Craven will clear.
Well, Calgary a little flustered, taking the low percentage shot from the top.
Roberts gives it to Zalapski. The fans getting a little impatient. Here's MacInnis getting set. He winds, and he fires it wide. Roberts was knocked down at the side of the net. He's slow and getting back up. Zalapski to MacInnis. He shoots right on, and the rebound is flipped back of the net. Nieuwendyk tried to feed Zalapski at the point. It was beyond his reach.
Well, Gary Roberts has been the pile and the pile driver. He's got crushed twice in front of the net.
Nieuwendyk for Zalapski. He flips it behind the goal. Flipped up along the boards. Here's a chance for Linden. Linden coming in against Zalapski. Linden trying to get a shot away, but Zalapski does a good job of tying him up.
Boy, great one-on-one coverage by Zalapski, taking Big Linden out of the play. Perfect example of how to play a one-on-one.
Now Jelena is out of the penalty box. Fleury to the point to Yanni. Yanni's shot, toe saved by McLean. And now the Canucks are back at full strength. Fleury is bumped in the corner by Hedeka. Linden fights for it along the boards. It goes back to the net for Brown. Brown moves it to Didick. Didick couldn't control it, but it slides out to center ice. 14:26 remaining in the second period. 1-0. The Vancouver Canucks lead. Effective penalty killing by the Canucks. They were at a two-man disadvantage for 1 minute and 47.
What a huge boost when you can go into another team's building. You've drawn first blood, then you kill off a 5-on-3.
14:08 is the time left in the second period.
Well, you get a few extra liberties when you're 5-on-3. Murzin really crushes Gary Roberts here. And shortly thereafter, look at Roberts. He's very tense up top now after getting that. Right between your shoulder pads and your pants, it's open, flesh. Well, Murzin found that spot twice, and then Lumme gave it a little massage. Roberts is hurting as a result.
Shot from the point, the save by McLean. Jelena starts away. He and Memesso to the line. Jelena dumps it into the corner. It's beyond the reach of Memesso. Cruz can't clear, and Didick's shot is right on. Memesso has it, his shot, and Vernon makes the save, and then McIntyre runs into Vernon and sends him back into the Calgary net. Dahlquist takes a hit from Jelena. And finally, Tissio relieves the pressure by banking it off the boards and down the ice.
Well, when you're the underdog, the longer you stay ahead or close, the more confidence you get. You can see this line of Jelena, Memesso, and McIntyre are getting that confidence, and in fact, did a good job in hemming the Flames in their own end of the rink.
Jelena is spun around, and it's an offside call against Calgary.
Bandage off it, and when it was changed, he refused to take a peek at it. Looked a little bit like one of those fancy gizmos that I'm sure you have on your kitchen, Don, that splits the apples into all those pieces.
Well, the North York native certainly deserves a lot of credit for playing during that stretch. I mean, it must have been very painful for him to play, even with the supports that he had around the injured thumb.
Well, the good thing is it's his right thumb, and because he shoots left, it's the top hand. If it was the bottom hand, you can bet that a few guys would have the crosshairs on it, a whack here or a whack there, even though it's healed up rather nicely, despite what you may think of the picture you just saw. It is still rather sensitive.
Does he have any additional protection inside his glove?
Just your glove. If you start to put a bunch of protection in there, it limits the movement of your hand, and guys that score goals like Roberts do like as much flexibility in there as possible.
Puck is loose in the corner. Lumme ahead to Adams. Adams has two line mates trying to catch up, Carson and Hunter, but they can't get to the puck in time. And Carson is tied up in the corner. A whistle on the play.
Well, Jimmy Carson is a guy that wants to rejuvenate himself and quiet some critics. You know, this guy can really score goals if you get him the puck. And the two guys that he's playing with perhaps aren't the most gifted guys in the world. But you get Ojic and Hunter out there and crash some bodies and get yourself in the side slot in a scoring position. With the release that Carson has, he can do some damage. And what he's trying to do is get the two horses that are on his wings to get him the puck.
11 goals this year, the lowest of Carson's career. He had 55 goals in 87-88 with the Los Angeles Kings. Joe Nieuwendyk, a 36-goal man this year. He was off to a great start until an injury put him out of the lineup for a lengthy period. Hedeken shoots it in. Zalapski tries to clear. Hedeken keeps it in again. This time, Zalapski gets some help from Roberts. Roberts for Patrick to Sullivan, but on the right side, Patrick was ahead of the play offside.
And he says Detroit may end up winning the series, but San Jose is going to give them a heck of a run.
This is what happened elsewhere tonight along the Stanley Cup trail. Back-to-back 6-0 victories for the Rangers over the New York Islanders, and there were people picking the Islanders to win that series. Not the way the Rangers have started. Hedeken for Ojic. Ojic throws it into the slot area for Murray Craven. Craven feeds the right side. Here's a shot by Brown right on, and Vernon covers up and holds it for a face-off. Both teams of defensemen capable of jumping up into the play. Perhaps the most active for the Vancouver Canucks is newly acquired Geoff Brown, while Zalapski and MacInnis will certainly do it for Calgary.
Well, Calgary's got a very mobile defense. Brown, coming over from St. Louis, had some question as to whether he was going to actually grace Vancouver with his presence. I'm sure he's happy that he did now, but he had, as I said, question marks in his mind. Great mobility. Clearly, though, Calgary, if you stack defense up and talk about ability to move the puck and to skate, they dominate Vancouver. Vancouver bigger and can play more physically.
Dienek at the point. Lets the shot go. Vernon kicks that to the corner. Back at the point. Babbage with a long drive. That goes wide. Fleury's rink-wide pass intercepted by Ronning, and his shot is high off the glass. Big hit by Trevor Linden. He stepped into Titov. Linden, the Medicine Hat native, has really been playing a physical game. Musil forced back into his own zone by the forechecking Ronning. Now Fleury tried to shoot it in. It's blocked. Here's a chance for Courtnall with Ronning going for the net. And Titov checked him, and the pass never got through. 10:54 remaining in the second period. 1-0. The Vancouver Canucks lead. Jalina works his way in for McIntyre, and Vernon made the save. Actually, Yanni may have stopped the puck in front of Vernon.
Great play by Jalina. Excellent speed on the outside to get across Dahlquist. He risked getting really flattened, but generated a scoring opportunity with that risk.
Penalty called with a collision in front of the Vancouver bench. We'll sort it out for you when we return. Kissio goes off.
Well, the former Calgary Wrangler gets a pair for high sticking as he clipped John McIntyre at the bench. A great opportunity here. Look at Jalina. He's got outstanding speed. Just about got flattened by Dahlquist, but snuck by, and if not for an excellent defensive play by Trent Yanni, there would have been nothing but net.
So the Vancouver Canucks have a power play leading by a score of 1-0. James Patrick tries to clear. Bure keeps it in at the point. Now Zalapski will try and drive it out, and this time he succeeds.
Well, Vancouver, as this game wears on, gets more and more confidence. They've already accomplished something here by staying with the Flames and sticking to their game plan. If they can continue to do that, they get more confidence again.
By Carson and kicked to the corner by Vernon. Now Craven has it. Looking up front for Carson. He couldn't get a stick on it. Cleared by Titov. Bure for Brown. Back to Bure. Bure moves it ahead for Craven. Craven slows things up to the point of Bure. He winds up the shot up high. Craven with his shot, and it deflected, and that puck may have hit the Vancouver player Adams in front of the net.
Well, that was a high rising shot for a guy that is not big by weight or height. Bure really lets the puck go. Now Larry Larry Ashley was out there quickly. It doesn't look like Adams got it in the face, but it certainly got him somewhere, and that's what has him down on the ice. See if we can tell where the puck went as Bure unloads this shot. It may have got him in the shoulder area or thereabouts.
A high rising shot by Bure from the point with Carson, Craven, and Adams in front of the Calgary net.
Sometimes you get hit like that, particularly when it's upper body, and it just takes you a little bit of time to get your senses. You want to get up and start to play. The trainer likes to get out there, in this case Larry Ashley, and just say, look, just take a minute here and let's see if you've been hurt. Get the situation in hand, and hopefully you get up like this and there doesn't appear to be anything lasting from it.
1-0, the Canucks lead on an early goal in the second period by Pavel Bure from Geoff Courtnall, and that may in fact be changed and may be credited to Courtnall, as he is the one who centered it. And now Jeff Brown retreats into his own zone. Still 57 seconds remaining in the Vancouver man advantage. He feeds Linden. Linden waits, dumps it to the corner for Courtnall. Courtnall for Ronning. Ronning throws it back to the point. Bure to Brown. Brown winds up. His shot is blocked. He gets it again. Brown back to the line. Bure shoots. It's wide. Ronning lets the shot go. Gets it again. He scores. Ronning's initial shot was blocked by Dahlquist. He got it again, and with Vernon down, put it up high. 2-0 Vancouver.
Well, this takes real composure. A guy that doesn't score goals doesn't necessarily get this goal because he tries to shoot it right away. Ronning takes his time, draws it back to his forehand, and goes right up top. A perfect shot. He's got a little bit of space because Calgary is down by a guy with the power play. And puts it into the top half of the net. Perfectly placed, and he gets a pat on the back from his pal Bure as well.
Bure and Brown draw the assists on the power play goal by Cliff Ronning, and Vancouver has a 2-0 lead. And the Saddle Dome has become very quiet on this opening night of this quarterfinal series. MacInnis for Reichel. Reichel couldn't do anything with it. Lumme is taken in against the boards, knocked down by Cruz. Now it's brought in by Memesso. He's knocked down by Musil. And MacInnis will try and start up the right side. He moves it ahead to Reichel. Reichel shoots it to the corner. Stern races in after it. Stern shoots right on. McLean the save. McLean is forced to kick it out again as Jelena starts away for Vancouver. He simply dumps it to the corner. The Canucks make a complete change.
Boy, a nice little play by McLean. Not only stopped the shot, but made the pass to Jelena. Jelena, who's a little tired, didn't try to beat somebody at the blue line. He made the disciplined play of dumping it in, getting a line change.
MacInnis being hounded by a former teammate, Tim Hunter. He dumps it in, and at the side of the net, McLean stops it, moves it up. Nieuwendyk fires it deep. Adams takes off the icing. Adams out front. Now it comes to Babbage at the point. He scores! Adams tried to walk out from behind the net. It was knocked off his stick. It came back to Babbage. It's 3-0 Vancouver.
Well, McCarthy collapses back in here and does a great job to lift the stick, but that leaves a point man open. You have to take the most dangerous player. McCarthy did that, but you give up something in the exchange. And Babbage, who can really shoot the puck, managed to find a spot that Vernon couldn't see it. And his first gives the Canucks a commanding 3-goal lead. Only 15 shots on net so far by Vancouver.
Babbage from Adams and Nieuwendyk at 12:16 of the second as Mike Vernon and the Calgary Flames trail Vancouver by a score of 3-0.
Well, this game hasn't had a whole lot of flow. Vancouver has systematically, through a couple of different events, managed to get the momentum, and now they continue to keep it.
Patrick being pressured in the corner by Ojek. Hedican couldn't keep it in at the point. Roberts starts away. Roberts is checked from behind. Ojek, who had a career season with 16 goals, was looking for Bure on the left side. It was beyond his reach. Now Ojek steps into Zalapski. Bure has the puck for Ojek. Ojek tried to center it, and it winds up in the mesh back of the Calgary goal.
That, and they're down 3-0.
King was saying that when you lose in a playoff series such as Calgary did last year to Los Angeles, you not only have to take a look at what your players did, but you have to look at what you as a coach did. And he felt that maybe they spent too much time in looking at videotape, as you said, that sort of thing. So it's a much more relaxed atmosphere this year in Calgary, but if they lose this opening game, things might change.
Well, players like to hear that too, that a coach is taking responsibility for a win or a loss. The guys are all in it together, and regardless of what team you're on, if the coach comes up to the forefront and says, geez, I could have done something better there, you earn that much more respect from your players.
Centering pass. Stern couldn't get a shot away. Back at the point, Zalapski is forced out to center ice by Linden. Linden now has the puck, but it's a two-line pass against the Vancouver Canucks.
Now, Trevor Linden came into this game having a fair amount of difficulty over the last few games. You know, he and Courtnall, Adams, and Ronning were 54 points less than they had in 1992-93. Linden was on a 48-goal pace at Christmas, and he ended up with only 61 points total. Not that 61's a bad number, but when you look at his first half of the season, you say, jeepers, what happened? Well, he just slowed down. He didn't have any goals in his last 9 games, but he's played a very, very strong physical game so far tonight. And if those goals don't come, he'll still be happy with his performance in the first 40 minutes of this hockey game.
Zalapski with a long shot, deflects off Didick to the corner. Memesso and Stern battle along the boards. Back at the point for Patrick. Patrick's shot goes off Memesso, deflects to the corner, and now it's knocked out to center ice.
Well, you got to watch 444 on the ice. That's Didick and Babbage. They've done a great job so far in both of these periods of keeping the Flames forwards out of the face of McLean. And when you got a good goaltender, if he can see the puck, he's going to stop it 99% of the time.
Well, Pat Quinn wasn't as worried about the performance of his team or as concerned about some of the more pessimistic Vancouver hockey fans may have been. He felt if his team played up to its capabilities, they could certainly knock off the Calgary Flames. And I don't think Pat Quinn is at all surprised that his team enjoys a lead at the moment. Here comes Cruz. Kissio went for the net but couldn't get there as he was checked by Jeff Brown. Adams dumps it in the presence of MacInnis. Veteran Calgary defenseman plays it up on the right side for Kissio. Kissio shoots it into the Vancouver zone. 4:49 remaining in the period. The Flames making a quick change. That enables the Canucks to get it out of the zone. Back comes Roberts. Roberts with a shot. That's grabbed by McLean. He drops it at his feet and covers up for a face-off with 4:36 left in the second. Welcome back to the Saddledome in Calgary, where the Flames trail the Vancouver Canucks 3-0 in this opening game of the Western Conference quarterfinals. 4:36 the time remaining in the second period. Nieuwendyk and Craven in the face-off circle. The puck comes back to Lumme. Centering attempt by Ojek. Played by Vernon at the side of the net. Nieuwendyk can't get away from Ojek for Bure. Bure forced into the corner by Sullivan. Bure still has it. Bure to Ojek. His shot right on, and the rebound comes loose in front of the net, and Craven couldn't get his stick loose. Lumme, with his glove, bangs it out of the air back into the center ice area. Zalapski plays it ahead to Sullivan. Sullivan's pass for Roberts. Roberts was spun around at the blue line by Lumme. And Murzin is back to cover up for Vancouver. The Canucks have not provided the Flames with many good scoring opportunities since early in the first period. Now it's Dahlquist trying to poke it into the corner, taken away from him by Ronning. Ronning clears the zone. It's driven right back in by Calgary. Murzin takes his time and moving it up to center ice. Courtnall couldn't do anything with it. 3:12 remaining in the second. Otto is checked. Courtnall left it there. No Canuck in sight. Back comes Yanni. Yanni gains the line. Otto goes for the net. The save by McLean. Linden is checked at center ice. The puck comes free to Yanni. Otto almost had it stolen by Courtnall. Vancouver enjoying a 3-goal lead, really checking the Flames, not giving them any opportunities to get on track. Here comes Didick. Didick goes in deep, looks for some help. The Canucks are in the process of making a change. He was on his own. Fleury starts back. Fleury tries to work through. Puck moving into the left side for Reichel, but he couldn't reach it. Big collision in the corner involving Memesso and Fleury. Now Memesso knocks the Calgary player down. Nylander took a big hit along the boards, and Babbage, who scored the third goal, drives it to the corner. Memesso picks up the rebound, and he fired it wide. Nieuwendyk starts back. Babbage trying to catch him. Babbage cuts him off. Excellent job by veteran Dave Babbage in getting back in the play.
Well, Vancouver's defense have really impressed me so far this evening. They're keeping Calgary to the outside. You get a guy like Nieuwendyk that has a great head of speed like that. Babbage played him perfectly, took him into the boards.
Now MacInnis being pressured in his own zone by Jelena. Now Jelena goes off. Nieuwendyk dumps it into the Vancouver zone, and McLean plays it up along the boards. Vancouver can't get out. Zalapski couldn't get a shot away. He was checked from behind.
Vancouver very aggressive defensively. 4 guys all around the puck. They're collapsing on Calgary and doing a great job in their own end of the rink. There's no room for the Flames to move.
1:05 remaining in the period. Ken Daniels, what have we got in the second intermission?
Well, he is going to look for a way to get his team back in the game. Good job taking the body on the much bigger Memesso. Mind you can say that about most players that Fleury would hit. You see Jelena come in right afterwards on Michael Nylander. The reason for that, as much as they want to take the body, is Fleury has put a hit that gives his team a little bit of momentum. Jelena's right there, and he says, geez, I can equalize that. I'm going to take my man. He did, and all of a sudden everybody gets up together and you go on about your business. Now this game, Don, I think is much more important to the Vancouver Canucks than it is to the Calgary Flames. Not to underestimate the importance of any game in the playoffs, but if Vancouver were to be in this situation now, after coming into the playoffs with not a lot of momentum, to have all the statistical evidence stacked against them, I would suggest that it would be another reason for them to lose confidence. But already after a minute short of 2 periods, they can start to say, hey, you know what? We got a chance to win this thing the longer we stretch it out. And that starts to become dangerous when you're a Calgary Flame.
Courtnall tried to feed Craven, who was driving for the net. Craven has taken most of the key faceoffs for Vancouver, and he's done a fine job. Here's Fleury. Fleury goes rink wide. Roberts tried to one-time it, and he fired it wide. Lead pass now for Bure. Bure coming in against MacInnis, and MacInnis strips him of the puck. Fleury leaves it for Roberts. Over to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk centered it. Roberts was tied up. Good job by Ojik at getting back into the play. Bure is taken in against the end boards by Zalapski. Still manages to come up with the puck. Now he loses it to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk trying to center. Checked at the side of the net. Roberts steps into Bure, and he's going to get a penalty.
Boy, this is a tough penalty to take. Gary Roberts went to hit Bure, and Bure got him right in the yap. Now remember, Roberts was run over twice earlier on by Merzen. He was slow getting up at the side of the crease 20 seconds ago. And now, at the very least, he's going to find himself in the penalty box.
Well, they're calling the penalty on Bure.
That's the right call. I saw Stewart at first, and I thought he gave a charging signal
I thought so too.
for Roberts, and then he went over and gave the high sticking signal. Whether he changed his mind or not, it is the right call. And Gary Roberts would be somewhat upset if he would have gotten the whack that he took, and the team wouldn't have received the power play advantage. Now Roberts gets crushed in front of the net. Remember we talked about Babbage and Didick. Well, they Didicked it to Roberts right there. And then watch this, Bure gets a high stick up right here as Roberts goes to hit him. He really gets raked. And he's looking for the penalty right away. Well, Bure did get the call.
But it looked as though Stewart initially called charging.
Oh, I'm certain that he did. But he reconsidered, and that's the right call now.
6.7 seconds remaining in the period. Otto in the face-off circle. He'll try and pull it back to Al MacInnis. He's against Trevor Linden. They'll drop it again.
Joel Otto was very, very strong in the first period on face-offs for the Calgary Flames. He was 6 for 8. Kissio never lost one. Reichel was 3 for 4. Linden was 2 for 8. So clearly Vancouver has done a much better job in the second period. I'll tally up those numbers here in the intermission and see where they stand. But I think, Don, through your observations, no question Vancouver's been much better on face-offs in the second period of play.
Back to MacInnis. MacInnis over to Zalapski. Shoots. Saved by McLean. A glove save with Joel Otto in front of the net, battling with Trevor Linden. From the face-off, after winning the draw, Otto went directly to the net. Linden went with him. And the two big men were waging quite a war in front of Kirk McLean.
Now this is interesting. Paul Stewart has got a slightly different approach than what I think the league would potentially like. He'd be saying something along the lines to these guys, if you could hear him. Look, you guys want to go, go. And as soon as players understand that, a lot of this stuff starts to stop. Now he could have got in and taken a different approach. He didn't. Look at how quickly and how calmly the little fracas breaks up.
You know, it was interesting. Rick Lee said to me this morning he didn't think there would be any fights in this playoff series.
Wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't. Joel Otto with a good face-off. We just mentioned his numbers in the first period. Clearly beats Linden. That's why Linden's upset. But notice that Linden didn't exaggerate the air by chasing the point. He tried to take Otto out of his way to the net.
0.7 of a second remaining, and Vernon has come to the bench. Reichel tried to go to the net on the face-off, but it deflected to the corner. And the Vancouver Canucks head to the dressing room with a 3-0 lead. With the puck along the boards in front of the Vancouver bench. 3-0, the Vancouver Canucks lead the Calgary Flames in this series opener. And it doesn't appear as though the Canucks are going to allow much skating room in this third period. They shut them down in the second. Here's MacInnis winding up. His shot is blocked before it gets to the net. MacInnis gets it again. Over to Zalapski. Zalapski into Fleury. Back to MacInnis. His shot is deflected high off the glass. Still 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Bure. They tried to feed MacInnis at the point. It bounced away from him and back to the Calgary blue line. Babbage ties up Reichel back to the net. Reichel still gets it, throws it out front. Nobody there, and the Canucks clear.
Well, Vancouver not looking to do anything fancy at all, killing this Flames power play. Almost 2 full minutes for Calgary to start this third period. They had the same advantage when they started the hockey game after 12 seconds.
Kissio puts it back to the net. Babbage intercepts but can't clear. Kissio to MacInnis, over to Zalapski. Zalapski in front of the net. Titov attempted to redirect, but it was blocked before it got to Kirk McLean, and then Titov pushed the rebound wide. 18 seconds remaining in the Bure penalty. Titov works his way in across the line. Titov throws it in front of the net. That's kicked to the corner by McLean. Zalapski wheels and fires wide. Kissio to Zalapski. Zalapski shoots. McLean makes the save. McLean comes out of his net, gets it to the line, not out. Bure's out of the penalty box, and here's a 2-on-1 for Vancouver. Bure with Courtnall. Courtnall back to Bure. Couldn't get a shot away. Gets it again, and this time Vernon was able to cover the corner. Zalapski did a good job of getting back in the play, taking away a good scoring chance from Bure.
Well, Zalapski was a little lackadaisical, or else he didn't know that Vancouver had come out of the penalty box, and the puck was stripped off him at the blue line, but it shows you Zalapski's unbelievable speed to get back into that play and get the pass that came back to Bure from Courtnall.
Well, Dave King, in talking about how he would defend against Bure, said he wanted good skaters on the ice at all times against the very speedy Bure, and Zalapski is that, a very good skater. Here's Merzen letting a shot go, a weak one that is smothered at the side of the net by Vernon, and he holds it for a face-off with 17:11 remaining in the third. There was no scoring in the opening period of the game. The Flames out shooting the Canucks by a 13-6 margin. In the second, Bure opened the scoring at 1:15, redirecting a centering pass by Courtnall. And then Ronning showed the composure of a goal scorer as he pounced on his own rebound, initially blocked by Dahlquist, to put it up high on Mike Vernon. And Dave Babbage made it 3-0. Here's the Ronning goal.
Out to the side of the net, that first shot, as Dahlquist puts himself down and hopes that the puck is deflected to the corner after he blocks the shot. No such luck. It goes back to Ronning, and that expression is common after you've scored a goal in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Carson faces Nylander in the face-off circle to the right of Vernon. Carson gets it back to Merzen at the point. He had some problems handling it initially, had to dump it to the corner rather than shoot it towards the net. Johnny for McCarthy to Nylander. Nylander back to Cruz, a shot, and a glove save by Kirk McLean. A very quick glove hand by the Vancouver backstop. Off the shot by Cruz.
Well, this script is unfolding perfectly if you're a Vancouver Canuck or a fan of Vancouver. The exact opposite applies if you're cheering for the Flames or you're on the Flames bench or managed. But a quick glove hand. McLean has had a chance to slowly get into this game, hasn't had a whole lot of traffic in front of himself. He's looking to get some confidence after having this kind of a record against the Flames over the last 2 seasons, only 2 wins. And he's starting to get that confidence because the shots are coming from the outside. He's allowed to see the puck and to make the save, and that makes him feel better. And you give a good goalie confidence, and he can become a monster. And when you're down by 3 goals, makes it awfully tough to play catch-up.
He made a number of good saves early in the opening period when the Flames had a couple of power plays. And in the second period, the Vancouver Canucks dominated.
Well, Vancouver's done an outstanding job of keeping Calgary in close quarters. You know, if you run through guys that stick out so far in this game, about 8 guys come to mind with the Canucks. And unfortunately, there's not a whole pile of names that jump to the forefront for the Calgary Flames.
One guy who has played well, Gerald Diddick, unable to clear just that time, but Bure starts away with the puck with Ronning. Ronning goes to the net. Bure moves into position. His shot is gloved by Mike Vernon. Nylander is stopped at the line by Brett Hedican. MacInnis has logged a lot of ice time for the Flames tonight and has been their busiest shooter, but nobody has been able to beat Kirk McLean. Sullivan for Otto. Otto couldn't do anything with it. Linden pounces on a loose puck. Linden goes in alone, scores!
Well, just like the comments that we made regarding McLean, Linden now, who has come into this series after not having a lot of confidence with the remainder of the regular season, pounces on a puck. Look at this acceleration. He's played a strong physical game. Don, we said that if he didn't get a goal tonight, he still would have to be very pleased with his performance. Well, now he's extra happy as he keeps moving, so Vernon has to back up, and in backing up, the legs stay apart. Linden, with his first goal, finds the 5-hole to give Vancouver a 4-0 lead.
Trevor Linden with his 40th point as a Vancouver Canuck in the postseason. 40 points in 39 games. He is the club's all-time leading playoff performer. An icing call against Calgary with 15:20 remaining in the third period. And the Vancouver Canucks comfortably in control by 4. Those two gentlemen, Al MacInnis and Pavel Bure, have logged the most ice time for their respective teams. MacInnis has played almost 20 minutes. For nothing, the Vancouver Canucks lead. They would love to go home with this series at worst, even at a game apiece, or even better, up by 2. This will be another icing call. Brett Hedican has only scored 1 goal in his NHL career. That was in the final game of the 1992 season when he was a member of the St. Louis Blues.
When playoff time rolls around, the brass has a little bit of spare time. Doug Risebrough on the right-hand side of your screen, and assistant general manager Al Coates on the left-hand side. And these guys will slowly be getting ready for a draft because most of their work has been complete and there's no changes that can be made while the playoffs are taking place.
I think the expression on those two gentlemen pretty much tells the story of the way this game has been going. Fleury steps into the Vancouver player. Hunter directly in front of the Vancouver bench. Hunter went down, and there's going to be a penalty. This could be a 5-minute call against Theoren Fleury.
Stewart is definitely throwing Theoren Fleury out of the game. He's given him 5 minutes. And something we haven't seen Vancouver do, Theoren is talking to the referee.
The Calgary Flames have dug themselves an even deeper hole now with a 5-minute major for butt ending against Theoren Fleury.
Right in the top right-hand corner of your screen, Fleury jumps up a little bit and catches Tim Hunter with an elbow and a butt end as Stewart assessed the call immediately and gave the signal. It's under Rule 79 in the rule book if you want it clarified any more clear than the replay did.
No question that Fleury, 5'6", left his feet and jumping up into 6'2" Tim Hunter, and Stewart called him on the butt end, a 5-minute major, and the game misconduct.
I'm not sure, Don, that was the intent of Fleury, but when you jump up like that and you catch a guy in the yap, you know that the referee, if he sees it, is going to call something in all likelihood more than a simple 2-minute elbow penalty.
Jeff Brown dumped it to the corner. Patrick will try and clear. He can't against Bure. Brown along the boards tries to shovel it into the corner. It's blocked and Titov starts away. Very quickly Bure got back to cover him by Ronning in the neutral zone. Ronning's pass for Courtnall, but Courtnall was offside as the pass from Ronning was partially blocked.
Well, Jeff Courtnall, as we mentioned on the lifeline with Linden and Ronning, has not set the world on fire from a scoring point of view in the last couple of weeks of the season as well. But all of a sudden, it doesn't matter when you're up 4-0 in the first game of the playoffs. That confidence starts to come back.
We mentioned that 2 members of the Vancouver Canucks, Merzen and Hunter, won Stanley Cup rings in '89 with Calgary. Courtnall got his in '88 with Edmonton. Martin Jelena got his in 1990 with the Edmonton Oilers. And the other member of the Canucks with a Stanley Cup ring is Sergio Momesso. Here comes Lumme. Working to the corner, Lumme is checked, and the puck is fired down the ice by Joel Otto. 3:44 remaining in the 5-minute major to Theoren Fleury. Dave Babich, who has a goal tonight, starts away. Slips it in the right side to Murray Craven. Craven tried to center it. It was blocked. Craven is checked. And Sullivan brings it out for Calgary. Gary Roberts had problems picking up the pass, and Lumme takes over for Vancouver. To Craven. Craven finds an opening down the right side. Now gets it over to Carson. He shoots. Pad save by Vernon. Again, Sullivan will dump it down the ice for Calgary, and he goes to the bench. The Flames have killed off 2 minutes of this 5-minute major to Theoren Fleury. Now it's Ronning leading the attack. Ronning is dumped by Dahlquist. The puck goes to the corner. Back to pick it up is Cruz, and he clears.
Well, if you look at this hockey game and where the wheels fell off for the Calgary Flames and Vancouver started to take control, it was in the first 12 seconds. Vancouver did a great job at killing the Flames' first power play. And one other instance comes to mind, and it's the 5-on-3 that the Flames have that Vancouver killed off. That is one that the guys will be thinking about tonight when they try to get to sleep.
Bure at the side of the net. Couldn't convert the centering pass from Courtnall. Courtnall has it again. Bure goes for the net. And the pass doesn't get through. Blocked by Titov. Titov finds some room, and he clears. The pass to Bure is offside with 1:58 remaining in the 5-minute major to Theoren Fleury.
Well, it's amazing how the season is stretched out. In 1942, the Toronto Maple Leafs just finished a 7-game series, and it was over in the middle of April. And of course, 11 years ago, the Calgary Flames played their last game at the old Corral. A couple of days later, they went up to Edmonton and lost in a 5-game series with the Oilers. And Edmonton that year went on to win a Stanley Cup.
1:58 remaining in the Fleury penalty. James Patrick brings it in across the line, fakes, now lets it go. Saved by McLean. Lumme for Bure. Back to Lumme. Flips it into the corner, picked off by Kissio. Kissio centered it. And Joel Otto couldn't get a shot away. Craven comes down the left side. Dumps it back to the net, intended for Nemeso, or I should say Jelena. He was spun around. Craven trying to get away from Musil, the Calgary defenseman. Flips it high, but not out. Bure nudges it to the corner. Craven taken in against the boards by Musil. Bure with a shot from the point. That goes wide. The puck is dumped down the ice.
Boy, Ron Stern just put a very vicious slash on Lumme. The crowd, you may have heard it, gave quite a new as Stern came down with the lumber right across Lumme's arms, close to the Calgary bench.
Linden. To Bure, back to Courtnall. Courtnall works his way in. He shoots. And with Ronning in front of the net, Vernon makes the save. 32 seconds remaining in the penalty to Fleury. We're at the midpoint of the third period. The Vancouver Canucks leading by a score of 4-0. Courtnall for Linden. He couldn't control it. Kissio can't do anything with it. Babich throws it up to center ice. Courtnall couldn't handle the pass, and it's brought in offside by Dahlquist.
Well, Dahlquist went to the Stanley Cup Finals once with the Minnesota North Stars. He's been a very, very welcome addition to the Calgary Flames, and with the addition recently of James Patrick and Zalapski, Dahlquist saw a little bit more time in the press box than he would have liked. But he got the call from Dave King and the coaching staff for this game because of his stay-at-home style and his ability to defend against guys like Bure.
He played 70 consecutive games from the start of the season, but when the trade was made with Hartford, Dave King talked to Dahlquist and told him that he would be sitting out some games. He said they need 8 defensemen for the playoffs, and certain players would sit out for certain games, and Dahlquist accepted it.
Well, that's something that you don't like to hear as a player. Some other guys that aren't in the lineup for the Calgary Flames tonight include Kevin Dahl, who's the same type of defenseman as Dahlquist, Michel, Petit, Wes Walls, and Dan Kesmer, who did a great job filling in when Gary Suter and a number of other defensemen were injured throughout this year.
Roberts with the shot as the Flames are back at full strength. Hunter kicks it back to the net for Didick. His sister Judy was a member of the Canadian team that won the World Women's Championship yesterday with a 6-3 win over the United States. McCarthy works to center ice. Puck is left for Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk dumps it to the corner. Didick goes back after it. Didick can't clear against Roberts. Nieuwendyk appeared to be all set to shoot, but he and Nylander got mixed up, and neither of them was able to fire the puck. Vernon way out of his net to play it down into the Vancouver zone. .48 remaining in the third. 4-0, Vancouver leads. Titov leaves it in the corner for Nylander. Nylander for Reichel. He takes the hit. Comes out for Titov. Titov can't get a shot away. Traffic in front of the Vancouver net. Reichel races after him. Behind the goal for Nylander. Nylander being bothered by Carson. Nylander works his way back to the point. Feeds it over for Patrick. Patrick goes into the slot area, and it's fired wide by Nylander. Ojic having some problems trying to get it out against Zalapski. Penalty coming up. Nylander has it back of the net as the whistle goes with 8:08 remaining in the third period. Gino Ojic heads to the penalty box.
Well, Gino Ojic gets a pair for roughing as he got into it with Zarley Zalapski in the corner. That gives the Flames a chance to go after the goose egg that McLean currently sports.
Tonight's game at the Saddledome is not a sellout. 17,764 the official attendance. McIntyre is able to clear.
Now this series is very important, not only from the pride of winning, but well, you look at some of the things that are coming up for these two teams. A new building in Vancouver, modifications to the Saddledome here, all sorts of things that need success on the ice.
New building in Vancouver and a new contract for Pavel Bure.
And they both could be about the same value.
Yanni's shot, saved by McLean. Kissio goes after it in the corner. The shot go, it's blocked, and it ricochets back to the line. Kissio manages to keep it onside. Now it goes to the point for Yanni. Back to Kissio. Kissio was the leading scorer for the Flames in the preseason, then he was hurt. Roberts at the side of the net. Couldn't convert the pass from MacInnis, and now the Canucks clear with 49 seconds remaining in the penalty to Ojic.
You know, I can't help but compare Vancouver's defense to Montreal's defense in 1986. They're big, not real mobile, but if their forwards come back and help them, boy, they are tough to beat.
Reichel's shot is gloved and held by Kirk McLean. 34 seconds remaining on the power play. Pat Quinn said this morning in talking about his Canucks, he said, we've got some decent talent, but we have to do things well. When we do, we can play with anybody. I think he's proven that tonight.
Well, and the whole key is to get all 5 guys on the ice going in the same direction. If one guy goes outside of the system, then everybody looks like fools. Well, tonight so far, Vancouver has been very, very strong in that defensive system part of the game. You know, guys like Didick and Babbage have really done a first-class job, and then their forwards have come back after they've made the initial play to get the puck out. So they haven't spent as much time in their end as they otherwise would have.
James Patrick from the point, fakes the shot, gives it to Reichel. Reichel's shot partially blocked. Reichel along the boards for Patrick. Patrick tried to feed it in. It's broken up by Craven. And Craven couldn't go anywhere with it. He's played a very strong game for Vancouver. Reichel shot goes wide. Craven has taken face-offs. He's killed penalties. And he's been double shifted at times at center.
Well, when you start to look at the game and you look at the score, you run down Calgary's list and there's not a bunch of names that pop out. But when you go down Vancouver's list, names like McLean, Craven, Diddick, Linden, Jelena, Menesso, Babbage, lots of choices for guys that have risen to the occasion tonight.
Courtnall chips it past Cruz, but MacInnis is there to stop the Vancouver winger. 5:43 remaining in the third period. Dumped in by Brown. MacInnis dodges a check, moves it ahead to Sullivan. Sullivan fires it to the corner. McCarthy picks it up. McCarthy looks back to the point, decides to go to the corner to Cruz. Cruz is tied up. Ronning attempting to clear and does. One of the differences in the hockey game tonight, Calgary 0 for 8 with a man advantage. And on the power play, managed just 14 shots on goal. At the point, Musil shot sails wide. The other side, Dahlquist trying to keep it in. It deflects off the Vancouver player McIntyre to center ice. Now Linden gets to the line. His shot and the save by Vernon. 4:43 remaining in the third period. 4-0. The Vancouver Canucks lead. There was no scoring in the first period. Vancouver took control with 3 goals in the second, and Trevor Linden has scored in the third. Jelena moves into the slot. His shot is right on. And Vernon had problems trying to cover up the rebound against McIntyre. It comes out front, and it's fired wide, but the whistle had already gone. 4:22 remains in the third, and now there's a gathering at the side of the Calgary net.
Well, Vancouver should be doing their best to get out of these. There's no advantage for the Canucks. On the other hand, the Calgary Flames might be trying to send a message for 2 nights from now.
While many of the 17,000 plus at the Saddle Dome have already started heading for the exits, Ronnie Stern goes to the penalty box for high sticking. 15:38 of the third period.
The flack on McIntyre puts him down. And Paul Stewart, who had perfect position on that one, I think was probably...
Was that a makeup call for the one that he missed earlier on Lumme?
I think he might have been averaging that one with the lumber that Stern laid on Lumme.
Hedeken at the point. Over to Brown. Back to Hedeken. Brown takes a look. Gives it to Hedeken. Over to Jelena. Jelena tried to hit McIntyre. Now Brown scores! Brown moved in from the point as Jelena initially tried to hit McIntyre at the side of the net. The puck ricocheted back to Brown, and it's 5-0 Vancouver.
Well, I would have lost a bet on this game if somebody would have told me that it would be 5-0 Vancouver 56 minutes ago. I would have had a discussion. Look at this shot here. Brown goes right to the roof, and when you're in close and you can get that sort of velocity and trajectory, how do you like those 2 words, Don, on a puck? It's pretty difficult for a smaller goalie to stop him. Brown can shoot the puck. He showed it there, and he simply put it right by Vernon's collarbone.
Jeff Brown was telling me this morning that the move to Vancouver was made much easier than when he initially went to St. Louis. He didn't know a soul when he went to St. Louis, but there were 5 former teammates from St. Louis with Vancouver.
Well, they could have blindfolded him, took him into the room, and he might have thought he was in St. Louis a couple of years ago.
And one of the people that went to Vancouver from St. Louis with him, Brett Hedeken, draws an assist on the goal along with Martin Jelena at 15:53. A power play goal for the Vancouver Canucks. And they have been very impressive with their play tonight at the Saddle Dome. 3:48 remaining. Nylander's long shot steered to the corner by McLean. Puck is centered. Patrick can't shoot it, dumps it back of the net. Diddick slowly moves out, banks it off the glass, and almost hit Menesso on the back of the head. 2 takes place here at the Saddle Dome on Wednesday. And with this victory, the Vancouver Canucks have taken home ice advantage away from the Calgary Flames. And in the other quarterfinal series, the San Jose Sharks have really taken home ice advantage away from the Detroit Red Wings. One more game at the Joe Louis Arena, and then the series shifts to San Jose for 3 games. In case you missed it, the Sharks tonight with a 5-4 win over the Red Wings.
San Jose much more used to the travel schedule that will take them across the continent than the Detroit Red Wings are. Just start to give them the edge.
Sullivan shot kicked to the corner by McLean. MacInnis wound up and whistled one high off the glass. And McLean was ducking on that one.
And rightly so. McLean shaking his head as the puck went 200 feet down the other end, pretty much on its own steam after that one. Whistled by his ears.
2:20 the time remaining. Ronning steals it at center ice. Quite content to take it back into his own zone as the Canucks kill off some time. Now Ronning flips it down the ice, and in the neutral zone, a penalty call as McCarthy and Courtnall collide. And now McCarthy hits Linden, I believe, in the back of the head.
Well, I'd be curious to see how Paul Stewart assesses these calls. Clearly, Calgary are the instigators in it. Linden has had a very, very strong game. Calgary looking to send a message. You get into these with a whistle. And Stewart will handle it as well as anybody.
And now Cruz wants to go with Lumme. And I'm not quite sure who that is who has intervened, but Linden is still down.
Larry Ashley tending to Trevor Linden.
Linden was down, and McCarthy was flailing away at him on the back of the head.
Well, Vancouver's played a very, very clever game. Lots of frustration on the part of the Calgary Flames. See if we can pick out what hurt Linden here.
Well, McCarthy gave him a pretty good shot right in the back of the head. That dropped him to his knees.
Now, here's one of the problems. You get linesmen in, and all of a sudden guys think that it's looked after, and it's not. If the guys aren't in, perhaps you don't have this problem. Benefited from the last few minutes that we've looked at. The Winnipeg Jets led the league as far as penalty minutes per game. San Jose right at the bottom, and you can see what that does for you in their victory over Detroit tonight. Vancouver and Calgary pretty close and in the middle of the pack. Calgary and Vancouver both had a tremendous number of power play advantages against them. 441 for the Calgary Flames, 458 for Vancouver. So pretty big numbers, and if you can reduce those and get a lot of these 2-minuters off the clock, you play more 5-on-5, and that's generally where playoff hockey is won, 5-on-5. And if you look at the game tonight, Vancouver has dominated 5-on-5. That was a question mark that we had at the start of the series this evening. Vancouver's done it, and that's why they're up 5-0.
So the Calgary Flames are trying to send a message for 48 hours from now. Game 2, Vancouver and Calgary, 7:30 Mountain, 6.
McCarthy, 4 minutes for roughing plus a 10-minute misconduct. Cruz draws a roughing minor and a misconduct. Stern picks up a misconduct. Courtnall gets a roughing minor and a 10-minute misconduct. All this at 17:51. So the Vancouver power play comes on the ice again. Number 1 on the road this year, number 24 at home. And Pat Quinn today was saying it's an absolute puzzle to me why there's such a discrepancy. But as you explained earlier, Jim, on the road, there's a tendency to keep the power play much simpler.
Well, statistically as well, Vancouver had about a half a dozen great power plays on the road. They got 4 against San Jose one night with not a lot of power play opportunities, a bunch against Anaheim another night. And when you do that 4 or 5 times, it can really drive your percentage up, coupled with a few nights when they were absolutely awful at home. And there you have a discrepancy.
Bure comes down the right side against Yanni. Yanni takes it away from him and clears. Kirk McLean, who has started 26 consecutive playoff games for the Vancouver Canucks, has been most impressive tonight. Carson was in the slot, tried to slip it to the side of the net to Craven. It was broken up. And now Brown goes back into his own zone, being watched by Reichel. Leaves it there for Hedican, and Hedican flips it back to the net. 1:10 remaining in the hockey game. Vancouver on the power play, leading by a score of 5-0. As we move into the final minute, Nieuwendyk is watched as he goes back of his own net by Titov. He slips it ahead to Babbage coming down the left side. Ronning throws it in front. Nobody there. Long shot from the point by Nieuwendyk. It's gloved and held by Mike Vernon.
Now Mike Vernon with only 1 game against Vancouver this year. It was a 6-3 loss. His counterpart was the same at the other end of the arena. Vernon with some nice rest.
What do you think?
Unfortunate injury.
Game 2?
I wouldn't think so, but as we said at the start of this hockey game, and we've seen throughout the year, Dave King is not opposed to making changes that might otherwise surprise some guys, and Kidd might be one of those changes.
Babbage at the point, lets a long shot go wide. Ronning controls. For Nieuwendyk, back to Ronning at the side of the net, and another penalty has been called. And we've got another pushing, shoving match taking place in the corner. And this comes with 23.6 seconds remaining in the hockey game.
Well, Paul Stewart put his whistle in his pocket, figuring he might have to help. Linden just serving notice that he's going to take a couple, but he's not going to continue to take it without retaliating. And right now, with less than 24 seconds remaining in this hockey game, it's all over, and you can make a bit of a stand without hurting your team.
Linden has played very well tonight for Vancouver. He has a goal. He's played a physical hockey game.
No question, Vancouver, in all likelihood, will be keeping the same lineup. They didn't dress Dantoski tonight. Charbonneau, Slager, Lafayette, or Brian Glynn, as we see the start to that ruckus. Yanni and Dahlquist with Linden, Martin Jelena wanting to be the pacifist. Lanny McDonald right to our left, watching the last few seconds of this hockey game. Not much of a smile behind that broom that he has underneath his nose.
Cross-checking penalty against Trevor Linden at 19:36. Nieuwendyk watched as he goes back of his own net. Now it's McIntyre into the neutral zone. McIntyre works his way to the corner, falls, is taken heavily against the boards. Back to the point to Babbage. He lets the shot go. They jam away, and Tim Hunter thought that he had knocked it in, but the net was off its supports, and I think the whistle may have gone anyway as the result of that collision in the corner where McIntyre and Yanni had each other tied up.
Well, the big shot from the point as Hunter bumps through the crease. That was actually very, very close to being a goal.
And Tim Hunter would like nothing better than to score a goal in this playoff round here at the Saddle Dome.
Well, he said something to me that I thought was very interesting at the start of the series. He said, you know, we know a lot more about the Calgary Flames than they know about us. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, statistically, they can get a little bit overconfident. We don't think the separation is quite as great as it is.
Well, Kirk McLean has to be the happiest guy in the building tonight for a couple of reasons. There were some people who were wondering about his play over the final few games of the season, but he scoffed at any suggestions that this playoff series would be a crossroads in his career. He said it takes a team to win, And I think that was very evident in front of Kirk McLean tonight, how the Vancouver Canucks played so well as a team.
Well, you have to love a playoff series when you can go through all the different statistics and parts of the game and build such a strong case for one team. But the part that you forget once in a while is that it takes execution. And the Vancouver Canucks, although outmanned and outnumbered in a lot of different areas, simply executed better. They had more discipline. Defensively, they were better. Offensively, they were better. Their special teams were better. Their goaltending was better. And when you put all those betters together, you get 5-0 and a 1-0 lead in the series.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks came to Calgary looking for a split. And now I'm sure Pat Quinn and all members of the Vancouver Canucks are thinking about the possibility of maybe returning home for Game 3 on Friday with a 2-0 lead. 5-0 Vancouver